Five, four, three, two, one. People of the world, hello and welcome to Marketing as a Foreign Language, episode 184. Today on the show, we have an incredible spirit by name of Glenn Daniels. Did you know that Glenn was a firewalker? But wait, there's more. Turned into a firewalker teacher. He's a natural storyteller. I personally get anxious. I don't know about you. Do you ever get anxious? And Glenn seems to have a zen about him where he is excited about getting on stage. I have a lot to learn from him in regards to that. Last time he was on the show, this is round 2, we talked about force busing. His parents made a decision to send him to a white school on the other side of town, 45-minute commute. So he has had quite the life, and we look forward to learning more. Obviously, one of the things I love about Glenn is that when he describes folks, he won't refer to the melatonin that they have. He won't refer to them by race. He describes them with other characteristics. So much to learn. What's your pigmentation is a direct quote from our previous episode. We chatted about the game of life getting more difficult as we go along. For those of you that are listening, perhaps you understand that as you get older, as you take on more responsibility, clearly the game of life becomes more challenging. So pray for the strength. Meditate on improving yourself, perhaps, as opposed to wishing it got easier. We made it all the way to junior high school. Ladies and gentlemen, on the show today, the Pulitzer Prize nominated Glenn Daniels.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I guess it all depends on what time you are listening to this. It is morning here, though, right now. That's for sure. But how are you doing, sir?
I am good. It's good to have you back on the show. As far as we made it last time, we were around junior high school. So do we want to pick up from where we left off?
Yeah, we can. I was thinking about that this morning. It said junior high school. That was kind of unique because it wasn't until high school that the forced busing came into place.
Okay,
a little bit in junior high school, but I was like a freshman. So here in Colorado, junior high school was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade or freshman. So that's about the time it started. But I was already used to it. So yeah, that's about where we can pick up if you like, and that's where we can go.
So let's talk about junior high.
Okay.
Junior high is when I started to look like a horrifying monster when the acne invaded my face. And that lasted for a good 10 years of my life. Did you ever struggle with self-consciousness around that age?
Yeah, I did. Not with the acne, with my size. At that time, I was less than 5'6", 140, I was just a small, skinny kid. Didn't start to grow on really till I got to high school. So the temptation was for people to try to pick on me. And then feeling like I was not strong enough to deal with people. I couldn't fight back that well. And the anxiety kind of built around more of my social life, I think, more than anything else.
Okay. So back then, was there ever a moment in your life, later in life where you just decided you were just going to work out a lot and get big? Did you ever want that or pursue that?
Yeah, between my junior and senior year in high school, I decided I wanted to play football. So I worked at it, and I worked really hard at it. I mean, it was a natural growth thing, but I went from being like 165 pounds to entering that senior year at 180 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and got pretty big, and then it went to the extreme. By the time I hit college, I was on the other side, the wrong side of that equation. But
Oh, so too much weight.
yeah, too much weight. At one time I was all the way up to like 260.
Mm.
So it took a while and took some thinking and foresight to say, okay, you know what? You're not being who you're supposed to be. So got it back down to 190, 195.
Right. I mean, that's a drastic change. 65 pounds is no joke.
It wasn't. I think at that point when I really came to that decision that I had to bring that off, it was due to just me starting to learn if you're who you're supposed to be, then you're going to eat right because it's just natural.
Mm.
If you're who you're supposed to be, you'll do the right things because it's just natural. If I'm going to be at the time, a television star or a radio, whatever, I can't be anything but that person. I have to control those type of things. So that's what led to me gaining weight. But as far as your social anxiety, that was it. Really, just not really knowing how to deal with the opposite sex for sure. Who does it in junior high school? But I thought I was worse off than most. Um, and we just kind of, in hindsight, I think led kind of a sheltered existence
Mm.
growing up. It was just like family was it. Going out on a Friday night? No, we were sitting around the house watching TV together. Mother and dad and brother and sister all sitting down watching all the good shows, the Bob Newhart show, and all those type of shows, at that time period. So just never. I don't think I even went to a party on a Friday, Saturday night until I was a senior in high school.
So let's talk about drugs and alcohol. Was that ever a part of your life in junior high, high school?
No, the second real fight I ever got into, a guy called me a punk for not smoking with him.
Smoking
I
weed or smoking cigarettes?
smoked weed with him. So I didn't like it. I hit him right in his face and said, "Don't call me names," and we got into a fight. But that made me so mad that I went counter. It was like, okay, never. So I went counter. So I never fooled around with drugs, now alcohol once I got to college. And I did. But in high school, just because the person decided to call me a name because I wouldn't do it with them, I don't know. I went off. I kind of got mad, hit the guy in the face, and
How satisfying. I assume it was a right. Are you right-handed?
Yes.
And you hit him with your right hand?
Yep. Hit him with my right here.
Oh, you palmed him.
Yeah.
You palmed him. Did you slap him or was it like a
No, I was
strike?
I was going to break his nose if I could.
Yeah.
But I missed it. So it went a little bit lower. But it was pretty well done, although, there's a couple more punches, but he was pretty well out on his feet after that because I was not happy about it. And I caught him by surprise. So,
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, this, ladies and gentlemen, tells you a lot about Glenn. So if someone is, so let me see if I understand this correctly. You're hanging out. He's smoking weed. He's like, smoke it. You're like, nah, I'm good and I'm cool. He's like, nah, do it. You're like, no, I'm for real. I'm good. And then he's like, punk, like, what's wrong with you? And then now he's getting aggressive. You just, bam.
I'm just hit him. Didn't think twice about it. When you look at how people are, he wanted someone to be with him. He was misery loves company, but he was lonely. I didn't take that. I didn't cut that. In hindsight, I wouldn't have hit him. But don't call me a name.
Oh, forget
it.
it.
At that point.
Yeah. Hey, good for you for standing up for yourself. I mean, I don't know where that guy gets off, calling you that just because you're not going to smoke weed with him. It's ridiculous.
Well, at 13 and 14 years old, no one knows better.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously don't advocate violence. I just think at those ages, the rules are so different. When you're an adult, there's just no justification almost ever outside of self-defense for ever using force. But at that age, it's weird how I was just talking to my daughter about this today. She said that, oh, my teacher wears sandals. We want to wear sandals. My kids love wearing sandals. They hate wearing shoes.
Yeah.
They want to be barefoot. And so do I. Okay. I barefoot longboarded like yesterday. I love it. I'm just like a total hippie.
Wow.
And on my little electric longboard, just cruising around. And so anyway, she says, oh, well, my teacher wears sandals. But I don't. And I said, well, that's hypocritical. And she says, what's hypocritical mean? I'm like, well, hypocrisy is when someone says to do something and they don't do it themselves. Mm-hmm. And so today, that's the word of the day. She's like, that's hypocrisy. I'm like, you're right. It is. Yeah. It is hypocrisy.
Hypocritical, yeah.
So it is hypocritical that adults are like, don't punch, don't fight, don't ever do that, don't ever do that. But then these kids, you're at recess, some kid punches you. You know what I mean? Or they're pushing you, they're calling you names. It's just a different environment for that, like under 16, 17 year old.
It is a different environment. It doesn't make it right, though.
No, of course not.
I mean, when I think about it, really, I had no reason. I should have just walked back off.
Sure.
And never spoken. We didn't speak anymore anyway.
Right.
But never, I didn't have to speak to him. I didn't have to do that. Now I say that was a childish reaction.
Right. Yeah. These moments to me are so important because when you're teaching people leadership, that moment, it's a really visceral pretty intense moment in your life. And I don't want to say you regret that because it's all part of your narrative. It's all part of your experience. I'm not
Yes.
making that argument. But for you to acknowledge it and say, yeah, I would have done it differently, is telling. So when it comes to you working with clients, I'm curious. Let's just fast forward. Walk me through what you do with clients.
We work through the what I call essential skills. Excuse me. And there are 4 pillars to that: communication, leadership skills. Which, quick definition: leadership skills being how do you have the difficult conversation with somebody? How do you fire somebody? How do you hold people accountable while building trust? How do you motivate people? Okay, so those there are skill sets. They're not soft skills. There's skill sets. There's a way to do all those. Then the third one is leadership intelligence, which was popularized. People call it emotional intelligence. But
Right.
leadership intelligence is not just emotional intelligence. It's a lot involved. So we have to figure out that and work with that. And then we work with the attitude piece, how to actually have control of your attitude. Because one bad day out of a year, you remember for that bad day. You're not
Y-
remembered for the rest of the good day. So
y-
there is a
Yep.
system that you can use to create a good attitude. So we talk. Those are my 4 pillars. And depending on what the client really needs at the time, we dive into the 4 pillars, whichever one they want. Most clients will choose one, but then the repeat comes in, let's do this other one, but let's rehash this one. So by the time we go through 4 of them, we spent 2 years with them. They're doing
Yeah.
the process all over again because they've hired new people.
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. Firing. The emotional toll that it takes to be a business owner, I think, is misunderstood at times.
Yes.
I think from an employee's perspective, many times, um, it's just difficult. If you've never been on top of Mount Everest, it's difficult to describe getting to Mount Everest. That sort of thing. I'm not making the analogy that I've climbed Mount Everest. That's obviously not true, but just the view is different. When you've done it. Shout out to Shelly Wonders in chat saying if I could go everywhere barefoot, I totally would. As would I, Shelly. As would I.
Not I.
um, but I wanted to ask you this. There's a saying out of Japan that a person is the room they are in, which basically, to my reflection, means if you are organized, if your room is kept, if it's clean, it's a reflection of your mental state. To what extent do you see that when you're working with folks?
Pretty much the desk. Okay. Sometimes people are really good at cleaning out the top of the desk, but what do the drawers look like? I mean, how organized is that? You know, we have a rule that my dad didn't give it to me. I'm not sure where I got it, but your bedroom needs to be straightened. Before you even come out for breakfast, your um, bed needs to be made up. Okay? Things need to be where they're supposed to be. Now, during the course of the day, if you spread out like I do, everything's every place. But by the time it's called end of the day, everything needs to be in its proper place again. So I agree with that because I would change that just a little bit to say that your room is what you fill it up with. Are you filling it up with your essence or are you filling it up with junk? So if I'm in a room, good thing the green screen's up so you can't really see what the room looks like. But if I'm in a room and I'm trying to project to you, but it's full of clutter all around me, that takes away from the essence. So, like, you have a great feng shui setup behind you. I'm sure that feeds your essence. So, when I'm working with a client, I can pretty well tell what type of person that person is. That if you want to go that the disc program, you can always tell what they are based upon how the desk looks.
Mm.
So I don't need to hear them talk. I can just look at your desk and know. Okay. So yeah, I think that's important in a leadership role because you got to set the example.
Yeah. I was just, my kiddos are meeting new people, and when we walk into someone's house, you definitely get a sense. You get a sense of where their mental state is, based on the what's on the wall, what's on the floor, how clean it is, how not clean it is, and it's so easy to look at entrepreneurship and think of it as something it's not. think of it as, oh, well, they have skill sets that I don't necessarily have, or they're more courageous than I am, or maybe like I could do it, but it's too risky. Like whatever those thoughts are, start with your physical space. Start with what you put in your body. You know, are you eating vegetables, man? You know, come on, eat some vegetables. You understand me? Like
Yeah.
basics, because you have to feel good to fight these battles, these emotional battles, the patience required to deal with all this stuff. Vegetables and tea.
And tea. Okay. I preach in some of my workshops where people don't like it at all. It depends on where we're doing it. But before you really get going, before you even walk to the bathroom, if you can drink at least 8 ounces of water. Hydrate your brain first thing. First thing, hydrate your brain because that's cleans you up a little bit. It helps your brain get to moving a little bit more. You're a lot more. I just preach it, and I think people, sometimes say, "Okay, Glenn, we get your message." No, but did you drink it? Well, I did yesterday, but not today. That's I didn't feel like it. I don't like water in the morning. Okay, get you some tea. Don't put sugar in it.
No sugar, no honey.
Yeah, just drink you some tea then. I mean, that's what I got here. A sugar-free tea.
Yes, sir. Yep. Cheers.
Yeah, there we go. So, but I'll just drink that. I tell people if you really have to cheat, go to one of those naturals like stevia.
Right.
But you shouldn't. Once you get used to not having it in there, you prefer it that way.
That's absolutely true. Yep, we are on the same page. And tea has L-theanine, which promotes dopamine and serotonin and inhibits cortisol. So the chances that you're going to freak out, because look, as an entrepreneur, every day is cause for a freak out.
It certainly can be.
You know, there's always, because there's just so much up in the air. There's a million different things happening. And it is your job to be the calmest person in the room at all times.
See, I think entrepreneurs separate themselves a little bit too much from the CEO of a Fortune 1000 company. They have a lot to worry about. They have thousands of people that they're directly responsible for. But entrepreneur has a million things that, like you said, could go wrong in any single one day. If you're not taking care of yourself, it's not going to work.
There was a gentleman who said motion before emotion. I'm not sure where I heard that, but I absolutely love that. I've got a kettlebell sitting in my room, and every time I look at that thing, I think about Ryan Jankowitz, who is a guest on my show, and he's great. Yeah.
About marathon running. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get you on a show with him. Because I'm going to start doing panels as well. But I think about motion before emotion, and then I pick up the kettlebell because wanting to do it should not be a barrier to doing it.
No, it shouldn't be. And it should, and you got to cut away that emotion. This morning, the emotion was, okay, I could sleep an extra 30 minutes if I just skip my yoga. Didn't feel like it. And I said, but okay, just go do it. Because what you feel like doing has no place in that. I may not feel like it, but it's still part. If I win my mornings, I win the day. And part of my morning ritual is 20 minutes to 30 minutes of yoga. If I don't do it, I don't win the day. So it doesn't matter how I feel. And that's what happens when people don't exercise or don't do the kettlebells, or it doesn't matter. Okay. If I'm going to be that great leader, I got to be that, which means I have to discipline myself. I mean, I love what Gandhi used to say, I meditate an hour every single morning. Unless there's going to be a super busy day. If it's a super busy day, then I'm going to meditate 2 hours. Okay. Okay, I got that.
I think I pulled something in my back laughing so hard. Oh, that's so funny.
That morning ritual is important, and you got to kind of check your feelings and do it anyway.
Yep. Motion before emotion. Okay, so you are in junior high. You are having some altercations from time to time with some folks. Just the one.
Second fight in all of school.
Okay.
And by the way, the last.
I was picking on you a little bit, by the way.
Okay.
Just picking on you a little bit.
Well, just in case my folks listen to this, I don't want
Yeah,
them to try to
exactly. Like,
punish me,
no.
okay?
We had
You're
no
in timeout
idea.
now, son.
That's right. We had no idea. Okay, so you got a really strong home life. Spend a lot of time, mom and dad, and you make your way into high school. Now we know that you kind of bulked up, started doing the football thing. What position did you play?
None of it. I didn't make the team.
Oh,
I tried to play running back, and then they decided I was too big for running back and put me into a line, made me a lineman, and I didn't want to do that. So, we played running back in Pop Warner and all those small things. So that's what I wanted to do. But
well, there you go.
Okay,
Let me ask you this. How often do you work with someone and they have a vision for what they want and better opportunities present themselves, or opportunities to let go of that, and because it's not working, whatever it is that they're trying, it's not working. And there's other things that they can go explore, but they're so attached to that one idea. Does this ever happen with clients?
I would think it does. I'm trying to think. The only time people really kind of balk at something like that is if they're afraid to give up what they have and afraid to step out. Not the way of saying, okay, football for me, that wasn't my dream anyway. I never really thought about playing even in college, let alone going from there. No, I can't say that I've had the client who had a dream and they wouldn't let go of it. But I'm not too likely to coach you into letting go of it. What I would like to do, if I'm going to coach you there, I would like to coach you in finding the skills and techniques you need to get there. But I don't think that's a good question. I got to think about that for a few minutes, because I don't think I've had a client that had a dream and a goal that wasn't really equipped to get there. If they weren't equipped, they just had to learn the skills and techniques.
Have you had a client that has, upon reflecting on your relationship with them, said, we did it? We achieved the goal. I'm so happy.
Yes, I have that. And then, this is part of me though. Okay, we achieved that goal. What's next? So what's next for you? So you want to increase your income or increase the production of the company by 20, 30%, increase your personal income by whatever it is. Okay, what's next? Once you stop growing, that's the problem. So the focus is, let's get the growth. Let's continue. What's our next target? Yeah, because I guarantee the work, we're going to get there. Okay, we're going to get to what you laid out, what your goal is. Because I'm not giving you money back. I'm sorry.
So what do you guarantee then?
We guarantee the results. Okay, so if you say what I need to do, like client I just won, call center. Okay, he wants to improve his retention. He wants less people to quit. So he wants to reduce that turnover by 15%. Okay, so that's the results. Not me coming in making people feel good, but the results. Okay. And that takes work, I think. And I have to know exactly. He's going to tell me what he wants me to do. But I got to be honest with him and say, if you really want to get this 15%, here's what we need to do. What do you think? We'll have that discussion. And if he says, no, I'm not interested in that part at all, then I can't work with him. We have to have the skills and techniques. I can't just walk in and motivate people. That's just like, I don't know, a football coach trying to motivate you to play a position that you're not interested in. Okay. You have to find the skills and techniques to get there. And if you don't want to do it, then why would I set myself up for that?
And I'm reminded of when I was teaching, and I would have students in my room that fit that bill. They have absolutely no interest at all. And that was one of the most frustrating parts of being a teacher, is having to interact with people who don't want to be there, that becomes many teachers' primary role, is to attempt to motivate people that aren't interested in even being motivated. And for some folks, that's their calling. And look, I loved being a teacher, and I still consider myself a teacher. But when I moved into the world of business and I realized, hold on a second, I can create a team of people that want to be here.
Yes. Yeah.
And what a different experience that is.
Yeah. You can experience people who resonate with your message, who want to live your vision. I give credit beyond belief to teachers. You know, give them lots of credit because they have that classroom is probably 2/3 full of people who really don't want to be there.
Right.
One of the greatest speakers I know of. I mean, no one knows him because he took a contract position with one of these contract teaching, and he's been there for 12 years.
Hmm.
Oh, so wonderful, so great. He doesn't want to leave there because he's got his kids in college now, and he doesn't want to leave to start his own little thing. Afraid he's going to lose money. Afraid he's going to be tough. So he's having a hard time making that transition away from it. But he's so good. But he always complains about, well, 2/3 of the room are prisoners for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Their company made them come, and they don't really want to be there. So yeah, I got 1/3 who are there because they want to improve themselves, but the other 2/3 are there just to take care of the boss's requirements on the job. Well, that's what an educator has. Kids in the classroom who are there because they have to be and don't really want to be there. So you got to give them all the credit in the world. I give you all the credit in the world. I mean, you're teaching martial arts now, right?
I am.
Yeah, see, and that takes a lot of discipline. I mean, that's the one good thing about martial arts. There's more than one good thing, but you get to use your body better. But what's really good about it, in order to be good at it, you have to be able to control your willpower. And that takes a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Entrepreneurship and martial arts to me are very, very similar. I think this is true of any skill that one develops.
Well, let me ask you, would you agree that martial arts and speaking in front of the room are similar?
Oh, very similar. Yeah. A lot of folks think that to be really good at martial arts, you have to be incredibly strong all the time. And it's like, no, you have to be very patient.
Yeah, very patient. Have to concentrate on your breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what when you say, and I know you're kidding, that you get a little bit of anxiety when you get ready to speak, but I bet you control it right away by remembering, okay, breathe.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a skill that you probably learned in martial arts well before anything else.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do is to teach martial arts. I just makes me so happy. I love public speaking. I also love interviewing people. It's all the same sort of energy. There's something at stake. With martial arts, it's, someone might kick you in the head.
If you're not paying attention, you're going to need to breathe just to get up off the ground.
It's just fun. It's just hard to explain. But 10:58, this is round two. Let's say we made it to about high school. Coming into college. Got a lot of ground yet to cover with Mr. Daniels. Oh, I'm sorry, Glenn.
Yes, sir.
And apologies. Yes. We got a couple minutes left. I do want to give Glenn the opportunity to just let you know where you can go to reach out to him. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel, all those sorts of things. So, Glenn, why don't you tell the fine folks how they can reach you?
Okay, well, let's start with the YouTube channel because you were kind enough to point out to me I probably should brand it the same thing I brand my podcast, Essential Leadership Skills. So we're gonna fix that today, hopefully. So we call it Essential Leadership Skills. That's where the YouTube channel will be. And then we have a podcast, Essential Leadership Skills, the podcast that is available every place, I believe now. And let's see. By the way, you can find all that information on my website, which is touchstonepublishers.com. Everything's there, touchstonepublishers.com, our blog, our podcast, everything's there. And let's see, need 10 minutes of time. It's kind of tough to get, but go to scheduleglenn.com. We're going to have a quick 10-minute conversation there. And the last thing, way too many things, but the last thing, if you want to take the leadership assessment, go to leadershiptest.online and take that. Right now, we're doing two of them, so there's only the emotional intelligence and the leadership assessment on there. But 2 free tests, go take them. So leadershiptest.online.
All right. So in chat, I have also copied and pasted the link to the YouTube channel. So go there right now, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be alerted to when Glenn is posting new content. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for swinging by the show today. Obviously, if you are interested in being a guest or you know someone who is interested, info, that's info@senditrising.com. Shoot us an email. We are live 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. You can watch the shows after the fact on YouTube. That's youtube.com/senditrising, and or you can check us out on iTunes and Spotify. You know the drill. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for swinging by the show. Special shout out to the incredible Glenn Daniels. Put your hands together.
No, I got to put my hands. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you next time.